Hey everybody, how's it going? Dan Schinder here on Drum Talk TV, coming to you from Globe, Arizona. Where is that? I live here and I don't even know. I don't even know how to get here or get away. No, it's actually up in the mountains, 100 miles east of Phoenix in Arizona, and I'm here with a first time guest, Garry Peterson from the Guess Who, coming to us from an undisclosed location in Florida. Garry, welcome. How are you?
I'm great, Dan. Thank you very much. Such an honor to be on this show that has had so many countless heroes
Oh,
of
thank
mine
you. Thank
on.
you. You've
Yeah,
been one of mine. I mean, you've been around, if I may say, forever. I mean, I'm 60 and I've been listening to your music since I was a kid. And you recently had a birthday. Can I say how old you are?
yes.
Garry is 105. No, Garry is
That's,
78.
and you were quite correct when you said I've been around for. I'm quite around, so I've been around for all my life.
Well, it's interesting to me that, first of all, for those of you who don't know, for you youngsters out there, or even for your oldsters who just may not be familiar with the music, the Guess Who, actually, the roots go back to the 50s. They're one of the most, probably the very first Canadian rock band to ever hit the scene. And here they are decades later putting out new music. We're going to get to that in a little bit. And Garry, it's just so thrilling. I listened to the album. I watched the videos of the singles and stuff. It's just amazing that you guys are still like right there and relevant. Did you ever think
Yeah.
in your 20s, this is a dumb question, but I got to ask, did you ever think in your 20s, oh yeah, I'll be in my 50s, let alone 70s, still doing this? Like, was that ever a thing?
Well, I don't think so. You always hope that you have success, and you always hope that you go on and do something that's relevant and are able to continue your craft. But I mean, since I started playing drums when I was 2 years old, I had no memory when I started to play. So if somebody says to me
It's
in
because
your
it was a
career,
hundred years ago. No, I'm kidding.
yeah, so I'm 78 now, so I've been playing drums for 75 years and professionally since 1949.
Wow.
So you could say that drumming for me is like walking. You know, you never think about whether you're going to walk or how you're going to walk, or
Right.
you
Or
just,
remember our first steps, like you said,
yeah,
not
you just
remembering how
do
we
it.
started.
Part of your, it's part of your DNA, and that's really how my career has been. Drums has always been a part of my life because my father was a drummer.
Oh,
He
good.
started he started teaching me when I had no memory.
Wow. Amazing. It's funny. I want to tell everybody that. So, Garry asked me before we went live. He knows I have kids, but not how many, because my son Steve is the producer in the back end. Many of you may know of Steve. So, Garry, just so you know, my wife and I have a blended family of 11 kids and 19 grandkids, and Steve's the youngest at 28.
I'm speechless, and God bless you.
I'm speechless and hairless. So
Yeah.
Garry asked me, "Did you teach? Did you move any of your kids into drumming?" And I quickly said, "No, I didn't want to push anybody into that heartache unwillingly." And I say heartache because I mean the best years of my life were playing professionally, going on tour, tearing up the Sunset Strip. But there was a lot of heartache and drama and just all that stuff. And I wasn't going to be the kind of parent that said, you got to put sticks in your hand and play like your old man. You know, if they gravitated towards it, I would have supported them 1,000%, like my parents did. And my parents didn't play. But it's interesting that your dad was a drummer, and I was at 2 years old. It was probably pretty natural for him to just say, "Hey, try, here you
Yeah.
go," or you saw him, or
Well,
who,
he would put his hands over. He'd get behind me,
right?
hands over my hands, and say, "Let your hands go loose." And if we'd be listening to a record or something, he'd be moving my hands and letting me feel how it was to
How it
feel
feels, yeah.
different. And that's really how he, and singing, phonetically singing beats, triplets,
Ooh,
and
nice, yeah.
to me, he had no schooling in drums. He was a local, a big band and jazz drummer in the local area in Winnipeg, playing nightclubs and so on. And so he only could impart to me as much as he knew, you know.
Right. Right.
But yeah, and as far as your children, water seeks its own level,
Yeah.
and you can expose them to all sorts of things, and I did that with my son. We had art classes and violin lessons and
Oh,
whatever, you know, and he finally became a carpenter. So, you know,
there you go. You never know.
he did what he wanted to. However, when we had our last reunion, he said, "Do you think I could be your roadie?" And I said, "Yeah, I can get someone to teach you everything you need." And he ended up being my best roadie drum technician ever.
Oh, wow. That's
And
awesome.
I think he wanted to go out on the road and see, because he came along after the initial success of the band. And so when he went out, he said, "Dad, I don't know how you do this."
That's
So
great though to work and travel like that together.
yeah, and we were on a tour bus in Banff, Alberta, and there was sitting on the bus with me my father, my son, and myself, three generations. And I'll never forget that as long as I live, because it was a very special time.
That's awesome. You mentioned the success of the band. Let's talk about the success of the Guess Who. Just a stellar founding lineup, many of which went on to do other things and stay, other great things, and stay and do many great things. Randy Bachman being one of them, of course. You had a stint with Bachman Turner Overdrive as well. What was the
Mhm.
big break, if you will, with the Guess Who, and about when was that? Was it with American Woman or was it before that?
Well, you know, the very first single was "Shaken All Over,"
That's right.
which
Yeah.
was 1965,
Yeah.
and that was on Scepter Records out of New York City, which was basically a black label at the time,
Yeah.
which was odd for us to be even associated. But they put it out, and they put on the label not the name of the band, which was Chad Allen and the Expressions.
Mm-hmm.
They were worried about getting American stations to play a Canadian band because of the British invasion. They were all playing just British stuff. So
Right.
they
Plus the language barrier.
we were divided by the same language. Um, so they put "Guess Who?" question mark on the label and just sent it out
Oh
to
wow.
radio, and it became a hit, charted in both Cashbox and Billboard. And after that, you know, they would say, "Here's Shaken All Over by Guess Who."
Wow.
We couldn't then after brand ourselves as Chad Allen and the Expression, so
Right.
that was a done deal. That was
And that
over.
just stuck for
Yeah.
decades. And what was the first tour into the United States like? How were you received at first?
We did kind of a cavalcade tour with Barbara Mason, Eddie Hodges, Dion and the Belmonts,
Oh wow.
Sam the Sham and the Pharaohs, the Turtles, the Kingsmen. That was all like on one cavalcade. We were on one bus. That kind we had been playing all over the states, the northern United States, out of Winnipeg for many years before that. But that record gave us the impetus to be able to go, you know, to big places and nationally on a national thing. So that kind of was a start. Then after that hit, we were with several labels in the States. Nothing happened from 1965 to 1968 when we did an album for Coca-Cola, and the producer was Jack Richardson for that album. And he saw something in the band. He said, "I want you guys to come with me. I'm going to mortgage my home, and I'm
Wow.
taking you to Phil Ramone's A&R studio in New York City, and we're going to cut an album."
Wow.
And we cut "Wheat Field Soul," which had these eyes on the
Yeah.
album, and took it around to every record label who refused it except RCA Records, New York. And the album was put out, and then was really the start of the major portion of the career for the Guess Who.
That's awesome. What a neat story. What would you say is the number one staple that has kept the Guess Who relevant all these years? And then we're going to talk
What,
about the new album because it just
what
sounds
our
like it's made
producer
now.
Jack, what our producer Jack Richardson would say every time we sat down with him is material, material, material. When he listened to what we were about to record, he would say, "There's nothing there.
Oh,
It's okay. It's good. It's music, but there isn't anything outstanding there." So what I'm really saying is, you have to have the songs.
mm-hmm.
In our era, it was radio driven and
Yeah.
hit driven, to a great extent, except for the later FM underground kind of scene, which we really didn't have all that much success in. We were kind of a hit machine, and that really is a material. And I think if you look at the material of the band, from These Eyes, which is a ballad, to Undone, which is almost a jazz tune,
Yeah.
to American Woman, which is kind of like harder rock, No
Yeah.
Time, and the West Coast country
Totally
rock.
gritty.
So what I'm saying is, and if you go back and listen to all 14 albums, there's a jazz cut on every album, or our version of a jazz cut. There's a country
Right.
song. We were an eclectic band modeled after the Beatles.
Interesting.
Those were our heroes. They had that kind of pop sensibility, and they included all sorts of music in their catalog.
That's interesting. It sounds like you were able to write for the fans without compromising and still being able to spill out through your different musical sensibilities with the
I
variety of music.
invite people to go back and I mean, most people listen to the hits and that's all you hear over and over again.
Right.
Go back and listen to some of the cuts on some of the albums, and you go, "What's that? Who are they? You
Yeah.
know, what are they doing?"
Hard to believe
You know,
it's the same band, right? Is there something like that on
yeah,
the new album, Gary?
yeah. Pardon?
Is there something like that on the new album that's just
Well,
way outside the lines of the rest of it?
yeah, there's a couple of cuts that are like what I call journeys. There's one song that starts off like you're in Lord of the Rings,
Oh,
kind of with mandolins and lutes
kind of
and vocal.
renaissance-y.
Yeah, Renaissance music, and
Yeah.
all of a sudden it ends up being AC/DC.
Oh, I love it. I can't wait to hear
So
the rest of it.
that's called Plein d'Amour. That's the title song of the album. But
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, I've been listening to music since before there was rock music. So like when I practice at home, I don't play pop music. I play like Latin jazz,
Nice.
because for a drummer, you've got all that percussion going on and syncopation,
Yeah.
and I can play with it and against it.
That's awesome.
So I have a love. I played with the Winnipeg Symphony Orchestra for an entire season.
Oh,
I
wow.
love classical music. I love the structures and the melodies and the movements from one movement to another in symphonies. And so, and of course Latin music, of course, it's based in rhythm. I love country music. I would love to play in a bluegrass band, because I love the vocal harmonies, and they never have much drums in that
Right.
in that genre of music, but I feel it. I get
Yeah.
I get the feeling from it. So I played a lot when I was young. Played weddings and polkas and shotishas and all the different styles, rumbas and tangos. And I was very fortunate to get to play a lot of those things, and that was kind of what influenced me in my style, which is maybe not the same as a lot of other drummers. Mine is a very unique style, and I must say, in the early years of recording, I spoiled a lot of records by being Buddy Rich on the record. And I say this today, I'm still learning to be a great rock drummer. and learning how to play and become a Ringo Starr or Charlie Watts, who played on such great records.
Yeah.
And what they played was so good and so perfect. That that's a skill. That's a
Yeah.
great skill.
It's a
I'm
constant
still learning.
journey.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm still learning.
And before we go on a journey to talk about the evolution of gear, I want everyone to look at the link to where they could see the videos and learn about the new album. Steven's going to drop it into the comments and pin it to the
Mm-hmm.
top. It's on the Guess Who website. Really great stuff there. But don't go there yet. Wait till after the interview, folks. The link will be there for you. We got more to talk about with Garry. But what was the biggest difference about recording this album, whether it's the process, production, or the material that's different, if at all, from the more recent things you've also done?
Well, it's funny because we actually went back
Oh, really?
the old days.
Did you use like 2-inch tape or something?
Uh, no,
Okay.
but we actually on the album before this one, which was 5 years ago in Blackbird Studios in Nashville.
Right.
That's this, we recorded that album on the same console, the Neve console that we did all our the same
Oh, wow.
style. All the outboard gear was the same that we used on These Eyes and American Woman.
Really?
So we were already starting that journey then. I
Going
mean,
retro.
now you could send files around, not to me because I don't have that technical ability. I'm a guy that comes in and oh, there's a set of drums. Oh, I sit down and I play it.
Yeah.
That's it. I
I
don't
love
mess
that.
with it. It just I got my sound and I can sit down at a set of drums and maybe a few tweaks. I'll give you my sound right away. So that's me. I'm not a technic equipment geek. I'm a guy that my set of drums. I'm looking at them right now here. I bought them from DW when I first signed with them, and that's the only set I ever played.
Oh, wow.
So
Nice.
they're here, right? And it's not like I'm not looking for the lost chord anymore. I just this drum. I'll play this drum. Okay, good. This is good. It's good enough for me.
Yeah.
So,
That's
but
great.
this new album, we took it a step further, and there's a little studio in a village north of Toronto, about 80 miles, called Villa Sound,
Hmm.
and it was owned by a musician from Winnipeg who had a great deal of success in the recording in Toronto, and especially jingles and movies and stuff like that. He passed on and left the studio to his engineer, and
Wow.
it's all full of guitars and all kinds of equipment, right? Just laying around. And that song I talked about with the lutes, and they were just laying there when we were doing this cut, which has a very slow vocal opening. So the guys just picked up the instruments and started playing them. And that's what I mean by the old days.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
it's not planned. We
Right.
just go in and,
Let the
hey,
magic unfold.
let the magic happen because you have this talent of hearing things. You do that. Oh, that's great. So we went there and we were there for about 10 days and stayed in a little hotel close, and we had meals in the house, in the kitchen, in the studio, and cut the album. And it was a great experience because it took me back to how we were really recording in the days of the hits of the
Yeah.
band. So, and I think some of that is reflective in this album. You can hear it in the grooves, if you will.
The
And
spontaneity and
yeah,
being in
but
person in a room.
there's one cut on every song on the new album is going to have a video,
Oh, that's
and
great.
there's already 3
3.
released.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the 4th is coming out soon,
Great.
and there'll be 8 by the time it's over with. Now, there's a song called "The King"
Yeah.
on
The new single,
the
right?
yeah, which is kind of a Queen. It's very Queenish,
Yeah,
uh, 10cc
totally.
vocal power, British power pop.
Yeah.
That's not normal for us, but it's stuff we've been listening to as we progress in our musical lives. You listen to and are influenced by things that you go, wow, that's great. And people have said some of it sounds like Jellyfish, which we
Oh.
all love in the band. We thought their albums were great.
Mm-hmm.
So while we were doing The King, we needed a video. So we went out in the backyard and we shot that video
Oh, is that where that was made?
while we were doing the recording
Oh wow.
session.
So that's the studio that's in the background in the yeah.
Well, yeah, some of it is the studio, but there's a big stone barn out there.
Right.
That was the kind of the backdrop for us being stupid in the yard. And you know what it's like when you're recording. You kind of need to get away and be stupid for a while to
Oh yeah.
come back to the a little bit of comic relief and
Yeah.
then back to work. So really that's kind of how this album. um Another thing, we were out in Fort Wayne, Indiana, on tour, and we needed a video. We went into a park somewhere and did another video, which will be coming out soon, called Spaces, off the album, and that's going to be coming out. We Headline was just released, I think, a couple of weeks ago,
Yeah.
and that was done on a lake bed in Las Vegas. It was freezing. It was like 30 above or 40 above. And we were playing a gig at the casino there. And we went out and we were doing all of this stuff while we're playing and touring. And it's kind of, I think that when we sit down and look at the end of it and look at all of it, we're going to see how we put it together and how much we enjoyed it and how much the love of the music and the band and the fellowship amongst the brothers in the band are reflected in that music. That's the
That's awesome.
success of music.
That's awesome. Thank you for sharing those stories. And I want to let everybody know the only reason why I'm not showing clips of the videos is because the videos have the music from the album, of course. And if I play those, they'll get muted. So that's the only reason I'm not sharing them. But Stephen
Well,
put the link in the
the album,
comments.
the actual, as I understand it, I get, as I get older, when we did this video, the dates and everything, they're all melded together. But the official release date for the album is June 30th.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, and there's been a lot of pre-orders and stuff like that, but that's actually and that'll be before, by that time, I think at this point, there's 8 cuts on the album. We're already doing 4 of them live on stage,
Oh, that's great. I looked at
which is
your
really,
yeah,
it's
go ahead.
very courageous of us, and to put that music amongst hits that are 50 and 60 years
That
old.
you've been playing for that long. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, people have been listening to them for that long, and we're saying, listen to these now because they're brand new. That's
Yeah.
a tough sell sometimes, but I think what I see on stage, which makes me so happy, is that people are loving the music the same that they love the old stuff. And again, that's the material.
I love
That's what
that. Yeah, it sounds great too. I looked at your tour schedule and I saw that in March, we still have a bunch of our kids still live in Las Vegas. We go there fairly frequently for
Yeah.
business and also to visit them and some of the grandkids. And I saw you were already in Las Vegas, but I see you're going to be there again in October. So
Yeah,
we're
we
going to
play the
try and get
Golden
out there.
Nugget. Yeah, we play the Golden Nugget casino twice a year.
Oh, that's great. It's a great venue. I've worked with Oak Ridge Boys, Foghat, a couple other bands, and that's always their venue and get to hang out. It's a really
Well,
classic place.
I always we had many pictures taken in Frank Sinatra's dressing room
So
there,
I
which
I have a secret to tell you. And
okay.
my son Steve let me know we did a 10-year anniversary show around the corner from there on May 20th, and the great fusion bassist Jeff Berlin was my co-host, and we unpacked the Drum Talk TV story. Steve, I'm curious. You can comment on my phone or in the comments on the live if I told this story or not. Otherwise, this will be the first time. So you're in Frank Sinatra's room, okay? Now, do you remember the lamps? There's a couple really neat lamps. One of them is held together by gum. Do you know how I know that?
You checked it out.
I accidentally
Oh
bumped
no.
the little table it was on
Oh,
and it
my.
fell and broke in half. And I was waiting for Roger Earl from Foghat to come in for his interview with me. And my cameraman and I looked at each other like, he, he said, "Give me the lamp." And I gave him both pieces of the lamp. He put like 5 pieces of gum in his mouth, took out this wad, stuck it on, went, put it back. I plugged it in, it worked. Went like this. Roger walked in. Six
Uh,
months later, I interviewed someone else, and when Harold and I went in the room waiting for them, we both side-eyed and looked at the lamp, and it's still held together by the gum.
oh my
I'm sure it
goodness.
still is. I'll have to show it to you if we get to see each other in
Oh
October.
boy. Yeah, it's quite, I mean, since I played that music before I was in the Guess Who, going into that dressing room for me was,
Ooh, yeah. It's now
you
on
know,
the counter. Did you notice, Gary, on the marble counter that
you mean
there's
the
yeah,
bar.
yeah,
Yeah.
the bar in his room, there's a circle. Did you notice that? There's like a little circle that's sort of carved into the marble bar or
That's
granite.
funny. And we took pictures behind that bar. So I should have looked at it. But really,
Check
the
it
only thing
out.
I noticed was all the female pictures that lined the dressing room were people that he dated.
Well,
So
I always that's right. I always wondered if that little circle was from Dean Martin leaning against the bar, just twiddling his glass year after year after year, carving a little recess.
yeah,
It's like the shape of a glass.
yeah, but history is so great. I mean,
Yeah.
it's to be cherished. All our musical past, and we're getting. I mean, I'm looking at our tour, and I see that next week we're in Clearwater, Ohio,
Mm,
which is the Surf Ballroom. 75th anniversary is where Buddy Holly
wow.
played his last before he got on that aircraft.
That's a
And
legendary venue because of that alone.
yeah, I've been there several times, but I know the rest of the guys in the band haven't been there, so um, I think it's going to be a special time. It's their 70. I can't even believe I'm saying the 75th anniversary
Wow.
of that ballroom. So
Yeah, crazy. Let's
yeah,
talk
it's
about the evolution of drum gear. Before we went live, you and I were chatting a little bit about the days when the Lynn drum came out, the Simmons drums came out. And for those of you who don't know, folks, the Lynn drum was basically, for all intents and purposes, the very first drum machine. And it was about this wide, this thick, and that deep. And you had to be basically an astronomic engineer to operate it, basically, right, Gary? And you had it mixed into your acoustic set with some
yeah,
Simmons drums spattered
yeah,
around on top of it.
because I could use. I mean, when we did our reunion tour, I even used it because, some songs, like we have one song that's kind of like "Follow Your Daughter Home" is like a calypso tune, and it had I played congas on it and kabasa and I couldn't play them while I was on stage. So I had it programmed on the machine, so I could already see the value of
You knew that was coming, right?
yeah, it was coming, and of course tracks are being used every day by people, and even us, we have, like, we play these eyes
Mm-hmm.
live, and we have the string section, we have the flugelhorn, we have the vibes, all of those parts are programmed so that when people listen to it, and a lot of people think it's not a purist thing, but in my mind, it's a tool to give the people uh, um, a semblance of the record they've been listening to for 50 years.
Yeah.
Why, and in my mind, why not use that?
I
I mean,
agree.
we all know in studios we overdub. I mean, Queen overdubbed how many vocal tracks?
Right.
They could use that now
And they're
if
not
they
trying to fool anybody. It's an
no.
instrument.
This this is the way it was done in the studio, and so you want to give, like, I played 6 percussion tracks on American Woman,
Yeah.
and they're all there on stage
Yeah.
when we play. So to me, it's so exciting. Usually in the old days when we recorded, we would record a bass track only to get a drum track.
Ah.
Everything else was wiped out, and then we would build the song, put bass on next, to the track,
Yeah.
and that's the way it was done. When I first got in-ears and all these tracks, my face, you should have seen my face, because I was sitting playing on the bandstand right inside the record for the first time in my life.
Oh,
You
the way
get
you were
it?
able to hear it. Yeah.
Yeah, there was no lead guitar solo in American Woman when I played it. It was
Interesting.
overdubbed later. So
Yeah.
now when I sit on stage, I'm the happiest guy in the world. And I have in my earphone mix, I have the most information of anybody in the band,
Right.
because I describe my sound, what I'm hearing on stage, as sitting right inside the record
That's neat. I love
as a
that.
drummer. And in the old days, you never got to do that. There were
Right.
no vocals down. There were no background vocals down when they took my drum track. It was
Right.
a basic work track to get a drum sound.
Yeah. Interesting. Let's
So,
see if we have some comments. Um, let's see. Oh, so Steve says I have not told that story before. Steve also is one of the comments. He says, I love when bands that have been around for a while and play, where to go, and play what people know are still willing to showcase new material live. Yeah, that's very important. Um, and Robert Sean says, American Woman, classic song, love it. And here's a great question from Justinus S. Johannesson says, who are the members of the Guess Who nowadays? So who are your fellow members for those who don't know?
well, lead singer, um, songwriter, producer, uh, lead guitar, rhythm guitar, piano, Derek Sharp. He's been
Yeah.
with the band 17, 18 years. So
Yeah.
he's the longest. He's the third longest existing member of this band at this point,
Right.
which people don't realize. So Leonard Shaw is a keyboard player, vocalist, sax, and as I said, vocals, piano, keyboards. He's been with the band 27 years.
Wow.
So he's second to me.
Yeah.
The guitar player is Michael Sterto, who came to us from Lou Graham's band, from Foreigner. And on this album was Michael Devon, the bass, from Whitesnake. Now he's
great bass player.
Yeah, since we left, it's the Guess Who is truly the Guess Who. He's now gone. He left before the album was, and he's gone to Dead Daisies.
Oh, with Brian Tichy.
Yes, Brian,
Yeah.
who subbed for me many times in this band.
Yeah.
And who's a great musician. I mean,
Yeah.
I could only hope to be as good as he is. But so we're looking at, we have a new bass player coming out this week, and that is Greg Smith.
Oh.
We're kind of, we didn't want to be in search of a bass player, but I think that Michael got an offer that he couldn't refuse, and we all understood. And we were so devastated when he left. Rudy Sarzo was on the album before that.
Oh, was he?
Yeah, he was on The Future. Check out that album. The Future
Oh
is what it used
yeah.
to be. Oh, yeah, but also Michael Devon played on that album as well. So we kind of been searching since Jim Cale, the original bass player, retired. We've been kind of searching for the missing piece. Um, Bass player from studio musician from Nashville has been playing with us in the last couple of weeks. His name is Luis Espaillat, and he's a great bass player. And so this week we look and see Greg Smith may be the answer to our open position. But yeah, with music, your one commenter said new music. Every band, I'm sure, whether it's classic and even especially classic, you don't just stop writing music.
Right.
The big problem for classic rock acts is there's no place to play it and showcase it.
Oh, interesting.
You know, who's playing? Oh, here's American Women by the Guess Who. Oh, now here's this their latest. That doesn't
Right.
that doesn't it hasn't existed. So therefore, people don't put out music. It's much different for country artists or for someone like Tony Bennett. He has 100 albums. No said to Tony Bennett, you can't record anymore, you know, because that's it. You did your work, and you know,
Yeah.
or to Merle Haggard or whoever
Yeah.
that's out there. You can't record albums anymore. You know, there's with pop music, there seems to be something that once your run was finished, that was it for you. You either just go out as an oldies act, um, and just play the music that you created. Well, we've been creating music for quite a long time,
Yeah.
and Derek's had songs. I mean, he's got some of these songs on this album are maybe 20 years old,
Ah.
and but music is music is music, and we believe in the music. We've been waiting to do some of these songs for a long time, and now they're here, and it's just music, people. You
Yeah.
listen
Yeah.
to it. You'll
Exactly.
like it or you won't like it. That's, you know,
Yeah. I
but at
love the
least,
new stuff. I love it. I'm glad that you've got at least 4 songs so far into the set. That's
yeah,
great.
and it's so fun for the guys to, you know, to be able to play stuff we created.
Created, yeah.
Yeah, so the story is, you know, there's a lot of great musicians, songwriters went through this band and helped create the music of this band.
Yeah.
And what we do is honor that and celebrate it. And now we're trying to add more to it. That's the mission of the
That's
band.
great. Seems like it's working.
Well, we'll find out. The people will ultimately tell us whether it's working or not, I
Yeah.
guess.
There is
You know,
another comment here for you and your musicality, where Gregory Bishop says, "Love your chops, Gary," and Robert Sean says, "Music is a universal language." Absolutely. I want to see if I missed anything else that's up here. Oh, Amanda. Hi, Amanda. Amanda, move my microphone closer. Amanda Pulowski says, after 18 years, I'm finally getting back to music as a single mama of 2 girls. Now majoring in percussion and piano performance and music therapy. My youngest is getting tested for autism, and piano has helped for her to do much better. That's awesome. That's great. Yeah.
yeah, music is sometimes when we go on stage, you know, I heard this phrase once, and it's like when we start the show, what goes through my mind is let the healing begin.
Yeah.
You,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying?
Oh,
Because
yeah.
people come,
Absolutely.
people come from their everyday lives. You know, there's and lives are good, they're bad, they're, you know, life is ups and downs. But when you come to a concert or go to a movie, or it's that little small space of a couple of hours or an hour or whatever it is that takes you out of that and
Yeah,
gives you a recharging for your batteries. So
absolutely.
musicians and artists are doctors of the soul.
Yeah. Yeah, I love it. I have two closing questions for you, and this is what we call the Garry Peterson Fun Fact segment. The first question is, you've been all over the world.
Yeah.
Where have you been that has had the best food, that when you see that place on the itinerary, you can't wait to get there because of the food?
Oh, I don't know if I'm, well, it used to be Carnegie's in New York, but
Oh,
but that's gone.
yeah.
So I would have to say that. I'm a pretty simple person, and I don't know that although I'm a round guy, that food would have ruled me that much. But I like to go to places and see the trees and
Oh, nice.
the country, and I love to plant things.
Oh, that might be
And
the answer to my next question. I was going to ask, when you're not recording, writing, rehearsing, or touring, what do you like to do outside of music and the arts?
yeah, that was one
Planting?
of the planting and working in the yard. I can't do it very much anymore at my age because I really need two shoulder replacements, and I've had both knees replaced, one hip, carpal tunnel, both hands,
Mm,
ulnar nerves moved in my elbows, and shoulders done, rotator cuffs done. So my although sitting and playing drums is easy for me. So
yeah,
go figure that. And,
yeah,
and God out there, thank you so much for
right.
not taking everything away from me. Let's just leave me playing the drums. I used to play golf a lot too. I miss that. I was a skier in my younger years,
Oh,
but some of those, and played hockey. Played a lot of hockey when I was young. Some of those sports are not good for people that are using four limbs for their
right.
live.
For their
So
vocation, yeah.
um, I love life. This, no matter, I when I couldn't play golf anymore, there's always something. Like I said, looking at the flowers in the yard, and the beautiful trees and the palm trees in Florida. We planted a lot of palm trees in our yard, and there's always something out there to get you high
Yeah,
that's natural in the world.
yeah. I love
and
that you
and
plant things. That's what keeps me off the news. I grow flowers. I have
yeah,
about 48 varieties of flowers. And we talked about dogs. You have a dog. We have three dogs.
yeah,
It's just something to just really keep your vibration in the right
yeah,
place.
it's hard to do that. It's hard to lead a normal life as as which most of the people that have regular jobs do. We're
Yeah.
always away. We're always traveling. We miss births. We miss deaths. We
Yeah.
miss graduations. We miss all the occasions. 4th of July. We're always away, and really the unsung heroes of this story of a musician are the friends and the family that have to share their loved one with the rest of the world.
Yeah.
Those are the true heroes that sacrifice. We do sacrifice because we're not there, but that's the life we've chosen.
Yeah.
The friends and the people that love you have to share you, and you're not there for a lot of very, very special occasions. So
Yeah.
that's something I always keep in my mind.
Awesome. Words of wisdom. Folks, check out the new album. It truly is outstanding. The link is in the pinned comment in the post. And Garry, thank you so much for joining me for the first time. We'll do this again. Stay on the line after I disconnect from the audience. And folks, thank
Yeah,
you for following Drum Talk TV. We're more than halfway through into our 11th year. We've been around over 10 years, and I really appreciate you following what we do. and there will be a lot more interviews coming very soon. And we'll see you all soon. Thank you very much, everybody.
Thank you, and thank you, Dan, and to all our great fans out there. God bless
Absolutely.
you.
Thanks.